And welcome back to our continuing coverage of the US Open final Grand Slam of the year. Introducing and welcoming back Whale Kappa and Alex from Need for Tips. We've just finished previewing the women's semi-finals, Serena Williams versus Anastasia Svestkova. So please go check that out on our YouTube playlist. Now looking at Rafael Nadal versus Juan Del Potro. And tomorrow morning, 9:15 Eastern time, we will be back to cover the other semi-finals as well. So again, welcome back, Whale Kappa and Alex. And let us commence. Nadal 1.67, Juan Del Potro at 2.44. Now in our women's semi-finals, all on agreement on Serena Williams steamrolling herself into the finals. This, on the other hand, I believe is going to be a closer ordeal. Many are favouring Nadal, and obviously he's priced so, but I've had a little sneaky futures bet on Juan Del Potro. Alex, do you think it's as clear-cut as the odds suggest? Should we take Nadal at that price on the outrights, or could this be an upset?
No, I'm not taking Nadal at that price. Yes, he's a fantastic player. I'm sorry for Dominic Thiem. He deserved to win against Nadal yesterday. I stayed till 6 o'clock 7 o'clock in the morning to watch that match. It was, I think that it was the best match from the entire US Open until now. Dominic Thiem gave everything. Nadal lost 1-0, the first set. Incredible stuff there. Incredible, absolutely amazing. On the other side, Juan Del Potro. The crowd's favorite, the atmosphere on the court, it will be amazing. It's like we are watching River Plate in Argentina playing on Stadium Monumental in the Argentinian domestic league. This is how his fans are reacting at every point he is winning. Fantastic, absolutely amazing. Isner fails to break him in their direct match in the quarterfinals. That says everything about Del Potro serve right now. Nadal is one of the greatest. I think that he's the greatest returner on tour after Novak Djokovic, let's say. He's a great defender. On the other side, Del Potro is running a lot. I've never seen him running so much since now, till now. But Nadal is doing a fantastic job defending. It will be a long, intense match. I think that we can see also five sets in this one, but I'm taking over 39.5 games at 1.8 right now with Unibet.
Right. Now, obviously, Whale Kappa subtly telling us that he disagreed with Alex. What are your?
Only on the team point. Team deserves credit for pulling himself off the brink of defeat multiple times in that fifth set. But I felt like Nadal was the better player in that fifth set, and it wasn't close. The fact that he won the tiebreak, I thought, was deserved for Nadal. Granted, team came out absolutely on fire, smoked him 6-0 in that first set. But Nadal's he brings experience, and he can fight back, and his ability to claw back into that match and have the match on his racket a number of times in that fifth set is why he's one of the greatest of all time. The cumulative effect, though, of playing Karin Khachanov for 5 hours and then playing team for 5 hours has got to be a factor on this. In this, though, I could talk about this match for an hour. I'll try to do my very best to keep this quick and summarize it, because there's so many angles that you have to incorporate, and this is a really difficult and fun match to handicap. But last year we saw the shoes were exactly on the other feet. Juan Del Potro got absolutely run into the ground. 5-set match against Dominic Thiem, survived. Then played just a nail-bite close, intense match against Federer to get into the semifinals, and then Nadal, he lost the first set to Del Potro, but then it was never even close. And a lot of that, I think, was born out of fatigue with Juan Martín Del Potro. You flip that, I think, around this year, and you're going to have a Nadal who's more vulnerable to succumbing to fatigue. Del Potro's had a relatively easy run of it here. We've only seen him drop the one set to Isner, which was by tiebreak. His serve is looking extremely powerful and difficult to return right now. And on the flip side, Nadal's serve is vulnerable. He's not getting free points with aces. He's not tipping the balance in his favor when he's on serve. He's surviving more or less, and a guy like Del Potro could take advantage of that. We've seen Nadal start slow. Match after match, Nadal starts slow. I would look at Del Potro to absolutely be a live dog in that first set. So getting him at plus money to win the first set is a great look for me. And just the fact that he'll win a set then opens up a number of other possibilities in the betting markets. Nadal, we most recently saw these guys tilt in Wimbledon. And I was on Del Potro that day. I had a future on Del Potro. I was certain that grass season wasn't going to go. The grass surface was going to handicap Nadal, and he was going to lose that match. But as the match wore on, he figured out that Del Potro's backhand is not 100%. It's vulnerable, and he picked on it. And if he can get into that type of groove again after maybe a tough first set, then I could see Nadal coming away with the victory. But all that said, I think fatigue is going to rule the day for this match. Del Potro's getting my money in terms of winning. I also like a look at Del Potro minus 1.5 sets because I think 3-1 is in play. 3-0 is even in play if the wheels totally fall off for Nadal. And so I'm gonna grab Del Potro 3-1, which is at about 5-1 right now. I'm gonna 5-1 odds, and I'm gonna grab Del Potro minus 1.5 sets, which is at about 5-2 odds right now. And a lot of what I'm doing, I have to qualify that I have a Nadal future from pre-tournament here that I'm defending a little bit. I think this is the right time to back out of that position. If he goes on and continues this run, then all credit to him. But even if he makes the final, I think Nadal's time in this tournament is coming close to an end. So I think it's time to switch allegiance here and start pulling for the Del Potro.
Right. Get some of that money back as well. I know just Turmino Tormo says, I think Del Potro matches well with Nadal. Del Potro has the far better serve. Just some of the comments here seem to be siding with Juan Martín Del Potro, and 2.4 on the outright. Would you take the outright at that price if you're trying to sort of if you think that Nadal's tournament is coming to an end?
I actually would look more to the to the set lines and the correct score, just because the number was better for Del Potro on the Open, and a lot of the value's been bet out of that number. But there's still good value in the correct scores and set line, in my opinion. And also, I would fully endorse an approach where you take a position like Del Potro 3-1 or Del Potro minus 1.5 sets, and then and also back him on the money line for the first set, and then look for an in-play bet on Nadal, either to take the second set or to come back and win the match, in which case you can cover a lot of your liability that way. To me, if Nadal he gets 2 days rest, he could be relatively fresh. God knows what he's doing to his body to stay in shape, but here he is, where he's, at his age, playing 5-hour matches and then bouncing back and being, still one of the greatest tennis players in the world. At the end of the day, all of this heat, all these hours on court, the road has been a lot tougher than it was anticipated to be to get to this point. I think he's due to fall at the hands of Del Potro 3-1.
Tomorino is making a great point. He said that Del Potro was great in Rio de Janeiro in extreme heat. He doesn't mind the heat. Well, Capper said about his incredible serve. I said that he was never braked in against Isner. Okay, I think that Isner is not the type of player to break someone's service, because he's concentrated more on his serve and bringing the set on tiebreak because he's lethal, but not against Del Potro, obviously. Yeah, I think that Del Potro can do that, can win this match. But still, I'm expecting Nadal to fight, to put everything here. And this is why I think that it will be a long match.
Yeah.
So my overs should win at 39.5 games in the match at 1.8.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Alex. I think this is going to be a long match. But talking of the heat, though, obviously Rafael Nadal being from Spain, and it's incredibly hot there. Were we chatting? We were saying that they send tennis players to Spain to basically go and practice in the heat. I was speaking with one of you, and you were sort of mentioning that. So really, Rafael Nadal should be fine with the heat too. It's almost like they're both fine with the heat, so we have to remove that factor as a basis for an argument for one or other to suffer in the heat, because I think they're both going to be fine in the heat, as they're used to it.
Yeah. I like that point, though, by Tom Marino, because they played in Rio.
Yeah.
These guys went head-to-head at the Olympics. It was a great match. Del Potro won 2-1 in the third set tiebreak, if I remember right. It was extremely competitive, and that whole run in Rio was Del Potro kind of reasserting himself as back post-surgery, and beating Nadal was a huge part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his last win against Nadal too. So it's been a little while. If you look at the head-to-heads, I think Nadal's like 11-5 head-to-head, and it's been weirdly streaky, right? Like Nadal won a bunch in a row, and then Del Potro won a bunch in a row. And then Nadal's won, I think, the last 3 or 4 that they've played against each other, including this summer in Wimbledon, which was a really competitive match.
Yeah.
But Nadal, if he's fit, if he's 100% after 2 days rest, I think he's going to find himself after a rough first set and pick on Del Potro's backhand. That's his only hope, though, in my opinion, because Del Potro's service is so good right now, and Nadal is getting 0 free points on serve, and really struggling with the service game as a whole. This is all to say that the U.S. Open is playing as a relatively slow, fast court this year, especially center court, and if it were any faster, this wouldn't even really be a question. You'd probably see Del Potro favored.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how a lot of aspects kind of work for and against each guy in this one, which is what makes it such a fun match.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Tom Marino says exactly the same thing that I said at the beginning, that Del Potro loves playing in New York, great fan base there. He takes the energy from his fans because they are doing an incredible atmosphere. They are exactly like in a football stadium, like in a /soccer, because I'm saying it football because this is the correct name. Anyway, I don't want to argue about that thing. Don't give me that look, Will Capper. Don't give me that look.
It's football season, man. It's NFL season. You're with the wrong podcast co-host.
Hey, wait, 2 against 1. Well, Kappa, you're outnumbered on this one.
Oh,
okay. Fair enough.
Under the belt. Anyway, it's football season also in Europe. It's football season, an entire long season full of important competition that we are covering on daily basis here at SBR. Yeah, I think that this match has written all over it games, and on the winners, I'm with Whale, because I think that Del Potro is a match for Nadal, who is coming after two very tough matches against his opponents, the 5 hours matches. So yeah, let's root for the Argentinian blood.
Yeah. No, listen, I've been rooting the whole time. Listen, so this is the show draw to a close, but I just want to say on Friday, Well Kappa will be joining Jimmy the Bag and Donny Rightside. He will not be alone then. He'll be joining his fellow NFL bettors and sharing, because he doesn't just do tennis tips. No, he doesn't. He extends further.
Tennis is a hobby. NFL is a profession. So this is this is the real deal.
Whale Kappa's going to get serious on Friday. So make sure to join them and support Whale Kappa in his debut show there on Donnie and Jimmy's bag there. So big thank you, though, Alex and Whale Kappa. And I'll see you tomorrow, bright and early in the morning. Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, can't wait. Thanks for having us.